Welcome to the Slade experiment. That's how we begin all of these things. From a brightly lit midnight spaceship, I come to you as I do each and every week. Cheers. I'm drinking. I'll tell you what, I'm drinking a black chocolate chai tea. And I'm drinking it because I was drinking a cup of coffee that was so offensive, I stopped the episode I was taping and went and switched to tea. Yeah, I've got a lot of different coffees. It was a Costa Rican, I'll mispronounce it, Tarrazu, Tarrazu, I think. It was so acidic. Anyway, so I swapped out. I threw in the whole towel and I went and got something I wanted to drink. And I put just a drop of Tupelo honey in this. The old song, you remember? Tupelo honey? Can't remember who sang it. But you may not, I haven't talked about this on the show. I'm a bit of a stickler for a good honey. We're all used to, I'm sidebarred on honey. I used to own a honey company, and we'll come back. I've got so many things to get to today. I shouldn't be sidebarred to talk about honey, but what we're all used to eating that clover honey. That's what we taste. That super sweet, the honey McDonald's used to give you with the chicken McNugget, the honey you get at a Cracker Barrel when you order cornbread. It's that sweet, cheap. It's the honey that comes in the bear if you go to the grocery store. But there's the type of pollen that the bees collect changes the flavor of the honey drastically. So there are some plant species whose honey tastes better than others. I think the best in the world you'll ever taste is sourwood honey. It's the sourwood plant. It's native to Georgia, I believe. You can find sourwood out there. It doesn't even taste like honey. It's a very buttery, rich flavored honey. It's so hard to explain. And then Tupelo has its own flavor, and that's from the Tupelo flower, which is indigenous mainly to Florida. And what we were doing was a wildflower honey blend that was predominantly China tallow here along the Buffalo Bayou in Houston. And China tallow is an invasive species, probably not even good for us to have been encouraging the pollination of the species. We weren't encouraging. We were like, bees, go get that specifically. The bees were getting that, and then we found out it tasted good. Then we got it. So anyway, I put some honey in my tea. Oh, and it's perfect. You terrible, terrible Costa Rican coffee. And I like Costa Rican coffee. Or at least I like coffee in Costa Rica. I assume that means I like Costa Rican coffee. I'm not real sure. But I don't remember it tasting like that. That was, if you woke up and that coffee was in your living room, you would throw it out. Anyway. A couple of updates. The rest in peace, Blacktooth Grin. My big orange fish made it up until 2 days ago. And then it just kaput. It gave up. I let it run its course too. I made a decision that I was not capable of deciding when a fish was suffering, and that I was going to watch this spectacle play out, and also maybe give the little yellow fish a chance to eat the other one just out of spite. You know what I mean? Spite may be the theme of this. So he's dead, and the yellow fish, after 8 years of Thunderdome-esque behavior, after 8 years of gladiatorhood, my Russell Crowe fish has won his freedom. He is my little yellow tweak with the brain damage that has survived all form of catastrophe, me-induced or otherwise. Me and that little fish, I even hand-fed him for a while, where I would get him to come up to the tank, just him, out of all the rest of the fish. So he made it, and I'm letting him have the tank by himself for a while. And I am, of course, now having the moral quandary of whether or not my fish requires companionship. How alone is too alone, right? Was that Bukowski who said that? If you If there's no one there to wake you up in the morning and no one there to ask where you're going at night, is that freedom or loneliness? I don't know. So that fish, I got to see. I'm now looking for signs of fish depression. That's what I'm waiting to see. The rat, on the other hand, this son of a bitch is still kicking it. If you're unfamiliar with the saga of either of these animals, I encourage you to listen to the last episode. The rat has outsmarted me. I have now seen him 6 times. And every time he disappears a different way, even though there is no different way. Every time he appears in a different location, even though there's no way to get to said location. But I flip on the light and he ghosts. And I've set up what I believe are, I started with the glue traps. The glue traps have to date caught the rat 0 times and me 4 times. Twice barefoot, once in socks, and once in a pair of shoes. And if you're Canadian, I recognize that probably just tripped a breaker. He had on shoes in the house. Oh, what's wrong with him? It's just we're Americans and we're filthy animals. So this rat, I went and got these. I didn't want to just set those old. I know that this is what I should do. I know this is on me. I should go get the old-fashioned 1800s wooden spring mouse traps. That's what I should do, and I should put some cheese on it, like you see in a cartoon, which was based on something. Some cheese, and I should set it in the middle of the floor, and I should wait an hour, and the rat should see cartoon smoke coming off the cheese, and it should follow its little nose, and then it should be killed, problem solved in an afternoon. But it's not how it went down. I bought these. They're traps, but they got like a little tunnel and a little bait thing, but the same spring and cut your head off stuff. So I got 2 of them that the rat just continuously dances around. They're full of bread and peanut butter. I don't know what else to do. So that saga shall continue. But that rat does not understand the spite. See, it's coming back up, fish. The spite that I feel towards an animal like that. Just getting by with this, making a mockery of me. I should let it go. I should do this a certain way. But I will burn that kitchen down. I will open the oven and leave the gas on. Rat, you don't know who you're messing with. I threw a whole cup of coffee away a minute ago. I'm a psychopath. What else is happening? I spent this week. This is a story. It was a good friend of mine's birthday this past Wednesday. If you listen to any of my previous podcasts with the Whiskey Brothers, you know the theme song for the last 400 episodes or so has been done by Scarface, the rapper from the Ghetto Boys, Brad Jordan, who's been a dear friend of mine for now going on I can't even tell you. It's got to be 10, 12, 15 years. I'm not even sure. However long I've been in Houston. And he's really good friends with my brother too. For totally different. They play golf together. But he and I have had this ongoing friendship for forever. And he throws a birthday party every year. And I've been gone. This is the first November I think I've been in town in several years, with the exception of the COVID year when nobody did anything. So I'm usually overseas, and for a number of reasons I'm not this year. I'm here for his birthday, and in previous years it's been at the House of Blues, and I think Erykah Badu DJ'd one year. I just heartbroken to hear all these things I've missed over the years. So I get a phone call a week and a half ago. Hey man, I want you to come tell some jokes at my birthday. And I go, okay, I'm going to need some more information. And then he goes, I'm playing golf. I'll call you back. And he hangs up. I think that was 2 days before his birthday. And then the day of, he calls me back. All right, hey, just come say some things. I'll see you tonight. Click. So I show up. Mike Epps was supposed to be there, didn't show. And Ali Sadiq was supposed to be there, also couldn't make it. He had a family emergency. So Joe Torre is there. The old school Def Comedy Jam Joe Torre. You know Joe. Another guy whose name I don't remember. And me. And then Terry Gross is hosting the whole thing. And I showed up. I didn't tell anybody I was there. I just snuck in. I was looking around. Everybody was there. Bun B, Slim Thug, Reggie Jackson, Too Tall Jones, right? Like I'm just a fly on the wall. Jay Prince, Willie D was there. That'll come up in a minute. And I just kind of hanging out. Grossman goes up. He brings up, he roasts a few people. He brings up this other comic whose name I don't remember. He kind of does a set. Faces on stage. I sneak around a little side door so I can watch things better. Joe Torre goes up, does a whole thing. Whole 20 minutes of Joe Torre. He's on the bill. That's what people came to see. This room is packed. And then Joe gets done, sits down at one of the big chairs on the dais, and Face flags Terry over, points at me, and goes, bring him up. And I was like, this is a terrible idea. If you're familiar with comedy at all, going up after the headliner is not a good plan. Once the people have seen what they came to see, that's why a host doesn't go back up and do more time. So I'd surrender to the fact that I wasn't going to do anything, right? Get a little stoned, stand off to the side. We'll watch the show. So I had to go up after Joe Torre, who just killed it. Joe's hilarious. And I told this story. The point is, it ended up okay. But it was like this uncomfortable moment where I was very cognizant of the fact that these people all paid $100 a ticket. Why does this white dude they don't know have the microphone after everybody that they were expected to see had already said what they came to say? It was a very weird moment. We will talk about that if we do it again in another year, Brad. But I did say, I remember, I said something about, because it was a roast. I said, y'all remember Fat Brad, right? And I looked at Willie and I said, remember when Brad was fat and y'all had Bushwick and you were the good looking one? And I said something about his head and he looked at, Willie's a bad dude. Willie D they were the Ghetto Boys for a reason. He's got some, he gave me that look. And I said, please don't follow me out in the parking lot, Mr. Willie, and follow me to my car and try to sell me an iPhone on eBay, which is it's a funny joke, but it's probably gonna get me beat up. The point is, it was a good evening. Scarface did about an hour and a half of his hits with a live band for about 400 people. Very, very intimate, very cool evening. So happy birthday to you, Mr. Scarface. Twitter is currently having a meltdown. It's one of my favorite things in the world to watch. Elon Musk bought Twitter. The man I've already said we blame far too much on. I feel you, Elon. These people are acting like a couple. It depends on the Twitter you follow, right? You can follow sports Twitter. You can follow comedy Twitter. You can follow black Twitter. You can follow science Twitter. You can follow all these different Twitter streams. They're all saying different stuff, but most of them are people saying Elon is ruining their lives. And then Elon tweeting back $8. And the lunacy of the moment is not lost on me. It should not be lost on any of us. The world's richest man, the world's richest man, the Grand Poobah, this dude at the top of all those lists, has been sucked into the mud with the rest of us. No longer just outbound, no longer just his thoughts. into the ether, let people do what they may with them. He got down in the trenches and got dirty with the rest of us, and I think we're in trouble. We dragged him in, and that's on us. People act like Elon bought all the Da Vincis in the world and burned them. That's the way they talk. It's so important. He bought the most toxic cesspool in the entire internet. And he's attempting to fix it because there's nothing to do to break it more. And people are, I can't believe. You could hear their brains pop. They're like, we gave you 7 days to fix one of the most complicated communication platforms on the entire planet. You garbage person. And now he's trying to charge $8, which is hysterical because most people haven't said $8 worth of shit since they got on Twitter. Can't wait to see where it turns out. It's funny to me. The technology is changing. All of how we communicate, and it's part of my struggle, and you guys will hear me bitch about it forever. I resist the pull of technology and communication the way it is today. I am also hyper cognizant of the fact that it's inevitable. That this march forward has been it's been ever with us from the Dust Bowl. It's sped up, right? The generations are getting shorter in terms of technological generations. The Dust Bowl, I don't know, grandfather, father, son, they all live the same life. Then that son's son, after those old bitter sons of bitches died, has kids who end up growing up in the 60s and 70s and start to see things like the moon launch. And they survive all the way through the 80s to see Nintendos and handheld video games and then cell phones and then computers and then laptops and then you know these little peripherals now and VR. And this whole generation has seen all of that. Something 3 generations didn't see at all, right? They saw the airplane, and then they saw other airplanes, maybe. But everything is going to continue to change. We are on the verge of so much augmented reality, and it doesn't get talked about enough. We talk about, I think everybody has, like, there's going to be some flip switch between the world we live in right now and the Ready Player One metaverse of the future. And it's not going to be so black and white. We have an entire era of augmented reality in front of us where you're watching this video and things of your choosing are changing the background, making it, maybe they're changing me. Maybe you can pick one of 12 avatars that delivers this to you, and only one of them wears a dumb red and black hat every episode. There's so many opportunities once they get the technology down. Right now, we all carry our little phones around, and we're hooked to them. And you never would have envisioned that in the late 80s, the early 90s. Remember the first cell phones? Those bricks, you had to carry a nuclear football with you. Bring the cell phone, kids. And it took all the kids. They had to carry it like a king on a pallet. You'd have to plug it into the car cigarette lighter, which means you had to pull the actual cigarette lighter out because people were still smoking in cars back then. You'd plug it in and to crank that thing up the antenna, you'd have to raise it out the window. You make a call, it was like $8.99 a minute. Hey, just want to let you know I'm calling you from my car. Oh my God, wow. All right, we got like 10 seconds left. I get click. It's only for emergencies. Who would have thought then that you'd be tethered to those sons of bitches now? That you'd be stuck in the corner of every room you walk in, just hooked to that, doom scrolling through posts about people you don't even know. You'd have never have seen that. We were too busy focused on flying cars and hoverboards. Took our eye off the ball. So what ball are we not paying attention to now? As we're over here looking at super virtual immersive reality, I think we're overlooking augmented reality. Think about, so right now, you look at everything on your phone. Everything in the real world is still the real world. There's no reason you can, if you go into a restaurant, the restaurant will look like the way the restaurant wants to look. You go into an Italian place, they probably got ravioli on the wall, whatever, pictures of the chef, all the stuff that you got in an Italian restaurant, fake tomatoes sitting in hay. I should never design an Italian restaurant. My point is, you know what I mean? It looks the way it looks. But imagine if you had on a pair of glasses or a contact or inevitably the chip that's going to go in your head. Don't say you're not going to get the chip. Everybody says, I'm not going to get the chip. It's the mark of the beast or the whatever biblical bullshit you're hanging on to. The bigger point is, it's just another piece of technology we resist. Our grandparents, I'm never getting a cell phone. Yet they jitterbug their way right into our lives so that they can talk to the grandkids because it's inevitable. If you don't evolve, you die. That's how it works. So eventually I'm going to have to succumb to some form of social media and communication. I get it. This can be by my choosing and when I choose. So when the chip ends up in your head and it can tap right into your visual cortex and you can just add things to what you're already seeing. Or when you put on your Google goggles or whatever dumb peripheral is there in the interim. When you walk into a restaurant, it will now be beneficial. We should set up I should call a chef friend, and we should do a pop-up like this and do it with the glasses. Where all of the surfaces are white, just white with regular angles, undecorated, unsullied. And then you put on whatever it is, you click the button on your temple, and you can cycle through 10, 12 augmented reality backgrounds. Now suddenly you're in a rainforest cafe, or you're at that Space 2020 restaurant at Disney. You'll have dinner underwater, we're underwater. Boop. White surfaces so you can scroll through your text messages and blink directions to your phone. That's all coming. All of it. Twitter changing is that's just part of it, right? That's the that's the only time I think we should ever really be mad at Elon. Is if we find out at the end of the day that this is in fact not just a simulation, but as Nick Bostrom mentioned in his 2006 paper, but what if what if this is just an app on Elon Musk's phone? Then we should be angry. Then we should be mad at him. If this is just some Sim City that he's been playing for the last couple of years, I feel like no one really took over the shit show until about 1998, but still, maybe this has just been an entire civilization project on his phone, and he was at the grocery store. He's trying to pick out a wine. He goes, and he looks down at his daughter. And he just goes, here, X23, or whatever her name is, and he hands her the phone. Just go, play with this while Daddy goes to get some more wine. And the last however long it's been has just been some kid fucking with the game Oh, you know what sounds great? Iceland. Tell me that's real. That's not real. Platypuses, octopuses, all the pusses. None of that's real. Come on. So that octopuses have 8 legs, a beak, and they're part inkjet printer. That's a child's mind at play. 1000%. Greenland. These aren't real places. Then I would be upset with Elon Musk if I found out that, you know what I mean? If I found out that January 6th was the whim of a rich kid's child, and we're all just little bitty digital algorithms running around inside the game, then I'd be angry. But until then, man, just fix Twitter. I'm going to give you a minute. You're busy, buddy. I was going to talk about robots running out of time. I should just let this episode drift into the abyss. I've got a little bit more tea. I've told a few stories. I've got to contemplate my place on the internet because I know I don't promote anything, which is beautiful. So if you're already watching and you're subscribed, that's kick-ass. I appreciate you. I don't like putting out the shorts that they continuously encourage me to put out because I feel like it beeps and dings people for the wrong reason. And then you're desensitized to notification from me. And what I really want you to do is look at the things I make that are long form, like this or like the Slade Runner episodes. So I try to be undistracting with the short form content. I don't know if that's something people want more of or not. Personally, I'd rather just put my time and effort into finishing my own special sometime after the first of the year and then putting that out, either finding an outlet for it to sell or releasing it here for free. But in the meantime, I will continue to do this each and every week, and I appreciate you guys for stopping by. I've tried to respond to all the comments and previous things, especially all of the help about how to get rid of the rat. We're 0 for everything so far. All the suggestions and stuff have brought us nowhere. So from nowhere, I'm Slade Ham. I'll see you guys on another episode of the Slade Ham Experiment.